Hello, John Talley here with Partzilla.com. Today we're going to spend a little bit of time and discuss whether or not you should actually clean or rebuild and clean, or just go ahead and replace a carburetor, in which may be the best avenue for you to take. Now, the carburetor that we're looking at today actually came off a Yamaha Raptor 80. It had been sitting up for a good while. We opened it up and it looked horrible on the inside. Everything was stopped up and it had this nice green fur growing on all the jets. And really it was in pretty bad shape. Now, since that time, I've actually soaked it in some carb cleaner. Well, let me walk through a couple of different scenarios that may help you to determine which direction you need to go on your machine. And of course, Yamaha has a full line of the different parts that you could rebuild and build the carburetor from scratch if you really wanted to, but that's not what I would recommend. It would cost a fortune. Yamaha makes a great carburetor dip and cleaner that is eco-friendly and is not so harsh as those older chemicals that they had back in the 60s and 70s. To that, you can just add in the individual jets that you may not be able to get cleaned up. And in this case, the one that you always are going to have that's stopped up is going to be the pilot jet. It's a very economical way, if your carburetor's not that bad, to get you back on the road again. Now, if yours is a little bit more advanced, there's a fair amount of tarnish in there, a good bit of buildup, you may want to consider going with a rebuild kit. With the kit, you're going to get all the primary jets and needles and gaskets and O-rings and even new screws, as well as the float bowl valve. Now, if yours is really corroded and that bad a shape, you'll be glad you have this full set of screws, because you're going to damage them getting them out and you don't want to go back and reuse them. Now, the third option, if yours is just so bad it looks like dried Coca-Cola on the inside, almost like molasses, you may want to consider going with an entire carburetor. Because think about it, if you are unable to get it cleaned up with the carburetor dip, you would probably need to take it to a dealer that has an ultrasonic cleaner, and that may or may not be able to pull it off. And they're going to spend and charge you for an hour, maybe 2 hours, and then the different parts and or a kit stacked on top of that. Now, if they have to go through all of that, well, then you have approached the cost of an entire carburetor in this particular instance. So why not make it easier on yourself, order the new carb, and then go ahead and install it. You'll be done in less than 15 to 20 minutes. So many of these smaller units were mass produced to the point the entire carburetor assembly can be under $100 in some cases. Now, this particular one, is pushing the 180 mark. But, like I said, by the time you pay for the mechanic's time, if it's really that bad, and the kit, you're very close to that cost to begin with. Now, before you go tearing into your carburetor, do yourself a favor. Check out our exploded diagrams. That's going to give you an exact picture of how this comes apart, and more importantly, how it's going to go back together. Well, listen, if you need any of these parts or help determining what you need to get for your machine, why don't you come see us at Partzilla.com and we can get you taken care of. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the section below and I'll do my best to answer them. We just want to say thank you for shopping here with us at Partzilla, and we will see you in the next video. Y'all have a great day.